Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this exclusive and private VIP broadcast. My name is Darren Little from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And guys, am I fired up tonight? We have the opportunity to sort of turn back the clock here a little bit tonight, guys. We're going to be sharing a story that honestly, it just touches my heart, okay? Because if you really understand sort of the background here of this couple that you're about to meet tonight, we've got Jennifer Mendez and we've got Jose Fleet Santos. Guys, they have 6 children, okay? 6 children. And they found themselves in a situation where, like it happens to all of us, you know, on the course of our life path, where life had just thrown them a curveball. They had used up their entire savings account. They had maxed out their credit cards and they were at wits' end, right? They had an eviction notice. They went for 2 days with no water and they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do. They were in a position, guys, where they were on the verge of being homeless with 6 children, okay? And I got a call from Jennifer. Jennifer sent me a message and they said, Darren, we really need to talk to you, right? We're in a real dire straits. So I called them on Facebook Messenger phone. We had a chance to chat. We talked for about an hour and a half. And I told them exactly what they needed to do, the exact step-by-step instructions on what they needed to do to go from literally, okay, imagine yourself with 6 children, 2 days with no water, guys. 2 days with no water, with an eviction notice, on the verge of being on the street. That's when they called me, okay? So what I would encourage you guys to do is this. Get yourself into a quiet area right now, because you're probably going to want to have a pen and paper and you're going to want to take some notes, because they have literally turned their lives around over the course of the very first year. They went from flatline broke to $157,000 US their very first year. And now they own their own advertising agency. Jennifer is in a chapter in a book right now. She's just writing. And Jennifer's actually the administration for the Facebook group called ClickFunnels. If you're in our industry, you would know what ClickFunnels actually is. And they just actually got the account, right, for Jay Shetty, who has about 25 million viewers on followers through his whole social media outlet. But that's the type of people that they're now attracting with the strategies that they've learned to become the attractor factor. So it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Jennifer Mendez and Jose Fleet Santos. Guys, standing ovation. Standing ovation, guys. I am so proud of you two. I got to tell you, when you guys sent me your picture that I was going to use for the promotion and stuff, I started crying.
Yeah,
I got welled up and I started to cry. So can you just sort of go back a little bit? You know, Jennifer, I know that you're a full-time network marketer. You had a full-time income. Jose, I know that you're an entrepreneur. You had business ventures and all sorts of things going on in your reality. Jennifer, maybe you can start previous to the spiral and tell us what exactly happened to get you to the point where you guys were on the verge of being homeless.
yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you, Darren, for having us here today. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. And back in 2016, I was part of a health and wellness network marketing company. And I was actually doing amazing at that point. I was enrolling machine. I was enrolling people, customers coming off, from everywhere. And I was using offline and online strategies. And I would say like 3 years into that, that's around the time where I met Jose. 3 years after, doing network marketing, my whole business started to fall apart, right? And it was because, you know, I was doing all the work in the front end, but in the back end, like my people were like falling off. The auto shipments, people were canceling. My team was like not duplicating. And through networking in that venture, that's how I met Jose. And then you can share a little bit of your background.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before that.
Darren, thanks for having us on. I'm going to be as transparent as I can be. So back in 2016, I was a business owner, brick and mortar. I was into my third year of business. Things were going well. I was into profits, you know. I was always looking for extra income streams. Yeah. So I found I was actually part of 7 different LMM companies, you know, within the span of 7 years. I was always dabbling in network marketing. So I joined the health and wellness business as well. And I was doing well. I was getting some customers off of my brick and mortar, bringing them over to the network marketing company, doing great. I met a runner. I met a runner, you know, networking, and I was like, wow, you know, and we connected and we were talking, and you know, through that journey, I came down here to Florida, you know, we met in person.
We fell in love.
And it was like love at first sight, you know, it really was. You know, we just took off running and fell in love.
We had a dream.
Yeah, we did for sure, you know, and I was like, wow, like, you know, I could build with this girl, you know, and I was just so excited, you know, so was she. She was doing very well. I was very impressed. I mean, she was climbing the ranks like through this this company. And I was just very, very impressed, and I was excited. And shortly after that, I sold everything in New York, and I just took a leap of faith, and I moved down here, and we became like the Brady Bunch, right? I was a single dad.
I was a single mom.
You know, we have kids together. We have
a story.
There's a story.
Lady. So when you talk about the Brady Bunch, so was it 3 and 3, or what? How did this come together?
Yes, it's
just like the Brady Bunch.
It's 3 and 3.
3 and 3.
What my oldest is actually on his own now, you know. So I have primary custody of my 2 younger boys. So I got with Jennifer, you know. So here we are with 5 kids. All right.
Starting this brand new life.
This brand new chapter in my life. I was so excited. We came and got a home together. Everything seemed like it was going to be amazing, right? You know, like the dream was going to come true. So we get rolling. We had these big plans on exploding our network marketing business, right? And we took off. And about probably, I would say, probably like 5-6 months into it, that's when stuff started getting a little rocky. Okay. Like Jennifer was mentioning, we were enrolling people on the front end, but on the back end, they were falling off faster than we could
keep up.
We couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
Bottom line. You know, the income started dropping very fast. I would say she went from making, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars a month to hundreds over a period of 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically the bottom just fell right out.
Yes, bottom just fell right out. So when I moved down here, I had some savings. I sold a business. You know, I had a little bit of money, but we started going through that very, very fast. We got into the holidays season, right? And in any business around the holiday business, it starts getting a little tough. So we thought that maybe we're just going to push through and we'll be fine. But we started finding out very fast that the well was running dry, right? Like fast. And we started getting desperate, you know, like anybody else, right? We started getting desperate, started going online, trying to figure out what we could do.
Harassing people because we didn't know what to do.
Yeah, for sure. So we got online, started just, you know, really, really just trying to figure out how to make money online.
Yeah.
Right. And we were figuring it out little by little. We would make 1,000 here, 1,000 there. We're just getting by. We're survival mode. Now our survival mode kicked in, right? This was late 2016.
Okay.
Early 2017, New Year's, we started falling behind in our bills, right? We were, just trying to catch up. Life kept hitting us. It just got worse, and I would say it was around February. I believe it was around February 2017. It was just a regular day in the office. We were trying to figure things out, and there was a knock on the door.
Yeah. So when
you opened the door,
yeah, I'm thinking when I opened the door, I'm trying to keep it together. When I opened the door, it was our landlord. And I was like, oh my gosh, like our landlord is here. We're behind on the rent. Like I was like thinking inside of me. I remember I was like, I hope she's not bringing an eviction notice. Like, what are we going to do? So I look in the pee hole and I see her there. I opened the door and she had, an envelope in her hand. She was like, I'm sorry, but, I have to give this to you. And I was like, I took the paper and I was like, all right, I closed the door. I was like, I don't know. I told Jose, I was like, I don't know what we're going to do, how we're going to do this, but we have like 3 days to like come up with this money and pay this lady, or else, we are going to be in the street.
Yeah.
And, that same week, we had our water shut off, like right before that eviction notice. Like we went 2 days without water. Like I have never gone through that experience before. I'm sure Jose, before meeting me, has never gone through something like that before. And having kids at home, and getting your water shut off. I remember we went to the dollar store to go buy like gallons of water to like bathe the kids. We told the kids that the pipes were broken. Like we lied to them. Like the pipes were broken because we're embarrassed. Like, how do you tell your children that you couldn't afford to pay the light bill and we have to bathe you with water? Like that was so hard for us.
Yeah.
So were you guys, so let me just understand this. So the income, you're recruiting people on the front end, people are canceling the auto ships on the back end. Guys, if you're in network marketing, most leaders won't tell you about this. This is the reality of this industry.
Yep.
And if you don't have enough duplication on the front end that's going to compensate for the 10% attrition every month that happens, you're on a spiral like this, especially if you're counting on that income to pay your mortgage or to pay your rent, your bills, okay? So if you don't have that enough front-end inertia to go bam, to create the frontward snowball, the 10% attrition per month is going to start create a landslide, which is what happened to them over a 90-day period of time. And then they started to account for Jose's savings and their credit cards. And, when you got, 6 children, that's going to dwindle up pretty darn fast, right? You got to feed all those kids and clothe them and send them to school and everything else. And what were you guys, 2 months behind in rent, or how many months behind in rent were you guys?
Yeah, a little over 2 months, going on 3 months.
Going on the third month.
Going on the third month. And, you have to understand too, just so everybody gets a clear picture here, we moved into a neighborhood when we were making a good amount of money. So our bills were very high.
Super.
Right? Because when we moved into this neighborhood, we thought that, nothing like this could happen to us, right? That we were just going to keep climbing in the ranks, right? That we were just going to keep bringing more money in and that we would be more than fine. So, here we are in this upper middle class neighborhood, golf community, right?
Wow.
Yeah, their neighbors, very well off. And here we are struggling, right? On top of that, I don't know if anybody here is familiar with the way the utilities work here in Florida, but literally there's this big truck that rolls up to the house and a guy gets out with this big wrench and comes out opens up the manhole right in front of your house.
Yeah.
Just turns off your water. Like, people notice that.
Yeah,
you know,
that was embarrassing.
and I was like, man, I was like, wow. And here we are looking through the window, watching this guy do this. I'm like, my insides were just turning. You know what I mean? And I was just in my faith, right? I was telling Jennifer, we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out. She was upset. She was constantly like an emotional roller coaster, right? 1 minute she'd be crying, the next minute she'd be, it seems like she would be okay. The next minute she's crying again in the room. I'm like going back and forth. And here I am being the man, right? Trying to calm her down, trying to tell her everything's going to be fine. We have these kids running around, they have no clue what's going on. We're trying to put up this facade, right? That everything's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. But it really wasn't. It really wasn't. And it was just so challenging to just keep it together, And, here I am. I've been this entrepreneur for over 20 years at this point. I've had my ups and downs, but I've always made my own money. I'm embarrassed to call back home, to reach out to anyone because of my ego, right? Like, I didn't want anybody like, wow, you're not making it. I thought you guys, are, like these superstars, like what's going on, right? I was afraid of that. I was afraid of that, right? And I didn't know where to turn, to be honest. I really didn't. But I just knew that something had to happen and we had to figure this out. But after the knock on the door, after receiving the eviction notice, it's like you feel like your back is to the wall. Like at this point, does it really matter? Like,
Yeah.
And we were already kind of, looking. Well, I was already looking at your stuff at your webinars.
Uh-huh.
Already seen your webinars a few times at that point. And, I told Jennifer, I was like, listen, there's this guy, right? There's this webinar. And I don't, either A, he's a really good actor, or B, he really knows what he's talking about because, you were talking to every single thing that we were going through our lives, right? In this network marketing company, right? We were tired of harassing our friends and family, right? We were constantly getting rejection from everybody, right? We would go to the mall
and just walk up
just walk up to strangers and hey guys, had no idea what we were doing, right? We thought we were doing everything right. We were doing home. We're doing these presentations at the houses, home parties. And I mean, we were all over Orlando, okay? I mean, all over Orlando, just trying to make it happen. And, I told Jennifer, I was like, listen, there's this guy, he has this webinar and it's this black ops, it's this underground marketing stuff, but it sounds really amazing. And I think this is it. And at that point, she was just mad. She was like, what are you talking about? Like, we're about to be homeless and you're talking about investing into.
Yeah, I was like, how are you thinking? What are you talking about investing money? Like, we are about to be homeless. Like, we need to pay our bills. And he's talking about investing into Millionaire Mentoring. But back then I didn't know. I was so, I guess, close-minded, and I was, I guess I never was used to investing into myself. I didn't know that I needed to invest into myself to grow, to learn. That was not something that was taught to me. So I just didn't know. I guess my ego too. And I was like, who is this guy? I'm like, what are you talking about? You are brainwashed. I used to tell him that. I'm like, somebody's trying to brainwash you. We're not doing this. We need to pay the rent and figure out how we're going to make this money to pay the rent. That's what I was thinking at that point.
So we were able to come up with a little bit of money and buy ourselves a little bit of time, with the rent, right? We came up with a little bit of money, gave it to the landlord, listen, this is going to happen, don't worry about it,
give us 10 more days.
Give us a little bit of more time. And we're just literally I mean, and I'm not sure if anyone out there has ever experienced this, like literally just buying time, like literally day by day. Just, we had these products at the house, right?
Yeah.
The company.
Probably lots of auto ships.
A lot of auto ships.
And we were like, hitting the streets, like hitting the streets, right? And like, trying to sell them, on the streets, and hey, let's do a party.
So we could eat.
Just so we could scrap up some money, just so we could go and feed the kids and just try to keep the lights on. And literally we were paying the lights. Like there's a company here that there's a program here they have that you can literally pay as you go.
Yeah.
We were literally paying as we went.
Like every other day we were sending $10, $20 here, $10 here, $20 to try to keep the lights on in our house.
I mean, it was very humbling. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
it was very humbling. I've never
before
experienced something like that, where I was just getting by, right? And I'm sorry, yeah. So, we were at our breaking point, I guess. Yeah. Like we're just broken,
like losing hope at that point,
Jennifer was a complete emotional wreck. Okay. She would get on, we would have these meetings on Zoom with her team, right? All these girls, and here we are trying to be the leaders, right? Telling them, oh yeah, we have to keep going. We have to keep doing more home parties, and we have to keep going, right? And doing every single thing that we were fed, right, from this network marketing company, like every single tool, every single strategy. And, these girls were like, kind of like, you could tell they were like, kind of like not to the point where they're like, is this really real?
Yeah.
And I remember telling Jennifer on one of the calls, she kind of broke down and she went to the bathroom. She left the call, just like we're on right here. She just got up and walked away. And I was left with like over a dozen of these, mostly women.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, guys, just give me a second. Hold on. Let me see what's going on. And I go into the bathroom and she's just trying to get it together. And she was very, very, very dedicated to this group of women that she was inspiring and motivating, and just giving her energy to. But on the back end, she was the one that needed the most, someone to pour into her, and because she was just an emotional wreck. Wow. And I was like, Jennifer, I think it's just time to be honest and let these people know what's going on, And she had a tough time with that. She didn't want to do it.
Yeah, because I felt bad because they all looked up to me, right? And I'm like trying to inspire them and motivate them, but I felt like at that time I was doing all that I knew. I didn't know what else to do. Like I didn't know real marketing. I didn't know about building a list. I didn't know about any of the things that now I do know because of you, Darren. So I was just trying to keep it together, and I felt bad because they trusted me, right? They were there because of me. They trusted me. And I'm like, these moms, these single moms, like they need money. Like what else am I going to do? And that's around the time when Jose had seen your webinar. Yeah. So yeah, even though we were going through it, we had like a whole crew of people just looking for help from us. And we're like, what are we going to do here? Like, that was tough, man. Yeah, that was tough.
I remember, but she built up the courage, and I told her, I was like, you know what, Jennifer, if any of these girls are your friend, and they're going to understand, they're going to respect you for your honesty, And I remember she got back on the call, and she was just honest, and she cried, and some of the girls cried, but still to today, like some of those girls, like we still talk to them, and we have helped them as well, So yeah,
I remember this one particular thing that you brought up that in our call, that I think you were supposed to be like the best man at a wedding, and you didn't even know if you could get the money to get to it was a tropical wedding, and you didn't even have the money to be able to get to the wedding where you were the best man at the wedding. Whoa.
Yeah. That wedding was planned like a year before when we were doing good, right? 2 years when we were doing good, we're like, yeah, we're going to be there.
Yeah, it's one of my best friends, in the world. I know this guy since he was about 17 years old. Here he is in his mid-30s. He's going to get married, right? He asked me to be, he only had 4 guys in his wedding. And I was the only one that was not a direct relative, so like we're like brothers, right? So, I mean, you can imagine the bond, right? And it was in St. Thomas. They actually have a home in St. Thomas. His parents have business there and stuff. And once again, I was too embarrassed to be honest with him. I told him the truth, And we were supposed to get like the wedding outfit that was custom made out of California, right? And he's like, "Hey, did you order your outfit?" Yeah, I'm like, yeah. And I'm like,
and we had not ordered that thing.
And I was just so prideful, and I just couldn't tell him that I don't know if I could even make it. So here we are in February. The wedding is at the end of March, around March, April, beginning of April.
The first week of April.
Yeah, it was the first week of April. And here we are, we're February. And I don't have plane tickets. I don't have an outfit. I don't have anything.
And we're about to be homeless.
And, I had to make that call. And I told him, I was like, listen, he was like, hey, like, you just have to let me know if you're going to really be able to make it. Like, I was like, yeah, listen, just give me a couple days. I'm going to figure it out. And I told Jennifer, I remember we had a little prayer room that we call like a little prayer room, right? It was in our master bathroom. And we literally would find ourselves there multiple times a day going through this journey, right? And we would just go in there and we would just pray because, I mean, we didn't know what else to do. I mean, if God couldn't help us, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like who can help us? And I remember going in there after watching your webinar, multiple times secretly. I had to do it secretly because Jennifer was just like, she thought it was another network marketing company. That's what she thought it was, I was like, no, it's not that. But after watching your webinar, like the 3rd time, I was like, man, I was just sold. I was like, there's no way this guy could be faking this. There's like no way. There's no way. I was like, my intuition was telling me there's no way. I would get goosebumps listening to you because I was like, how does he know this? Like, it was almost like weird. Like, how does he know I'm going through this right now? Like, how does he know this? And I remember going into the bathroom and telling Jennifer, she was in there, she was trying to get herself together as usual, again, right, for the kids and for the rest of the world. And I remember going in there and, I was telling her because she was in doubt, right? And she was like, oh, we have all these things and we have to hurry up and what we have to worry about is getting this rent money and, all this stuff. And I was just like, wait a minute. And I remember just praying and telling her, I was like, we're going to do this and we're going to figure this out and stop worrying. And we're just going to, I'm telling you, this is it right here. You have to believe me, please. Like, we're going to do this. And I'm telling you, this person's going to help us, And she was like, okay. So I actually borrowed the money. I swallowed my pride and my ego. And she was like, how are you going to do this? I was, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And you
went behind my back.
I called a friend.
Who was the one that instigated the call to me? Was it Jennifer or was it you?
Yeah. So I
was me.
I came up with the money, right, to get in. And, we started watching the videos, right? We started getting into it. And, but we still like, it was just still a little bit like I don't know if it was from like everything we were going through. We weren't, just clear, on everything. And we're still like trying to, with a lot of doubt, still trying to figure it out, and Jennifer's like,
that it was
I'm going to reach out.
Yeah. That the landlord knocked on the door that same day.
Again.
Yeah. So again, when she came with like the final, like, here you go, you gotta go.
And Jennifer's like, I'm gonna call this daring guy, right? I'm gonna reach out to him.
And you told me not to.
And I'm like, are you out of your mind? I'm like, these guys are like in Canada somewhere. Like, this guy doesn't have time for us. Like, are you serious? I'm like, there's no way. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't do that. She's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, whatever, go ahead, waste your time. Like, super egotistic. I was just like in doubt myself. I'm like, go ahead, whatever. And she reached out.
Yeah, and I remember I sent you a message, and it was like a book long, and on Messenger, and I told you everything that was going. I was like, you don't know me, but you know, I've been like trying to learn from you, and I'm one of your students. I know we never met before, but I'm going through XYZ, and I need your help. And I remember, like, I was just looking for hope. Like, it was like my last resort type of thing. And I was like, if I don't message this guy, like, what else are we gonna do? Like, I didn't know what else to do. So I messaged you, and I remember, I don't know, in less than an hour, we got a call. And I remember I grabbed the phone and I told Jose, I was like, Darren is calling. And he's like, what do you mean Darren is calling? I'm like, yeah, I messaged him, he's calling. And he's like, well, so pick up, you know? And I'm like, okay. And I grabbed the pen, I grabbed the paper. And I remember, like, we went into the room. I told the kids, stay out of the room. We locked the door. Yeah, we locked the door. I grabbed the pen, paper. I put you on speaker. And then you just started speaking to us and pretty much coaching us throughout that call. Right?
Yes.
And I was like writing as fast as I could.
Man, it's like, you know, where we're at right now, and I'm just like reliving this whole thing. I can't even believe it. I'm like in shock right now.
Yeah, it's been 2 years and it's so fast.
But I remember, I remember that call like it was yesterday. I remember, you know, you telling us exactly what to do. And I remember you telling me, listen, if you do exactly what I tell you to do and you do everything every day, the entire formula. I remember that. You're like, how can you expect to get results? The entire formula, Jose and Jennifer. And I was like, okay. And I remember you telling me, you know, probably in about 10 days, give this 10 days, you should be able to pull out of this hole that you're in. And if you don't listen, oh, well, I don't know what to tell you.
I know.
And I was like,
oh, well.
Wow. And at that point, I remember the call lasted about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I remember hanging up the phone, and Jennifer and I just stayed. We just looked at each other, and I was like, man, we really need to do this. You know, we really need to do this. Choice. We're gonna have this is it. This is our last. I mean, if this doesn't work, I am done with the entire internet. You know, that's why I said it. You know, I was like, we're going to do exactly what he said and just trust the process, right? Because I remember you telling me that. You have to trust the process. Trust the process. And I'm like, okay. And we started doing it.
Now, on that call, let me just interject here. Yeah. Did I say these words to you guys? Okay. Follow exactly what I tell you to do, step by step. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Don't come up with a better way. Don't let your ego get in the way. Don't let your pride divert you and say, well, I'm going to try this other strategy. Follow these exact steps one by one. And if you do, you will never have to worry about money ever again for the rest of your life. Guaranteed. 10 days. 10 days. Stick with the plan. Just follow these steps. And you'll never have to worry about money ever again for the rest of your life. Did I say those words to you?
Yep.
Yes, Darren, you did. And
I got goosebumps just like you saying it, because it's like how you said it that day.
I just and I remember you when we hung up the phone, and I was like, Jennifer, you know what? That's when we came to the realization that my ego was really in the way of success, and hers too, her pride, our egos, you know, just not wanting to really follow the process, right? Not wanting to do every step. Well, I mean, do we really have to do that one? I mean, right? Well, I mean, nothing was working. So, you know, at that point, I was like, what do we have to lose? What do we have to lose? Let's do this for 10 days, like for the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, which was a long time because I mean, I don't know, once again, I don't know if anybody is going through this maybe right now or have encountered this when you are like literally hours away from being homeless, you can't sleep.
Yeah.
You can't. So we weren't sleeping. Like we were literally taking naps here and there because we were falling asleep, but it wasn't by choice. It was, you know, we were just in this desperate physiology, right? And I remember you telling us that too, to just, you know, get out of our head, get into our heart, follow every single step, just like that, every single step, Jose. And I'm like, okay, Darren. And it literally changed our lives. And it wasn't easy. And I remember going like day one, you know, we were like, okay, you know, step one, step two, step three, like literally like little babies, you know what I mean?
Like a checklist.
I felt so vulnerable. I really felt like, you know, like I wasn't even a man at that point. Like I was just this baby taking instructions, right? And we did every single thing, right? Step by step by step by step by step. And I remember 25 connections a day will keep the bill collectors away. 25 connections a day will keep the bill collectors. I just keep replaying that in my head, right? And we were like 25. Let's go like
100.
Let's do double. Let's keep on. And because the situation that we were in, we're so desperate. So we were just messaging and doing what we had to do and following the steps. And I remember getting to the eighth, about 7-8 days in. I mean, we had a lot of calls. I remember that. I remember we got on a lot of Zooms. I remember we spoke to a lot of people. I remember we connected like massively, right? And it was about the 7th, 8th day, but still no money in the bank account, right? And the intensity and, you know, everything's starting to build up still. I'm like, oh, and I'm just trying to get out of my head. I can hear Darren, get out of your head, follow the process. And I'm like, okay, you know, like I don't want to mess this up, Jennifer, you know, and I was scared to show her that side of me as well, you know, so I would go into the bathroom, throw water on my face, try to keep it together, you know, and she was too. And we were just like still in this hope mode, right? And I remember getting to like day 9, right? It was day 9. And I was like, babe, like tomorrow's the 10th day. And we haven't got no money. I mean, we have all these people are calling us and talking to us and stuff, but still no money, right? And
that's the compression. And it's illusion, guys. If you're watching this right now, and I can tell you countless stories. See, what happens is when you're going on this part and you're going towards this thing, it doesn't look like anything's happening. And if you don't get control of your mindset, if you don't get control of your thoughts, words, and emotions, you'll speak into the reality that you don't want. So you have to trust this process. And what happens, it comes like an avalanche, right? So it can look like the illusion is there's nothing there, but it's the compression, pow. Okay. So what happened when it finally popped?
So day number 9, we're still doubting. Well, maybe I was, you know, Jennifer
I was still
like,
working.
Jennifer was just like, trust the process, right? Connecting. Day number 10 comes in, right? The 10th day hits. The whole day goes by, nothing. Now I'm sweating bullets. Like we literally were hours away from being homeless, like literally, right? And the evening hit. Jennifer starts screaming. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, what happened? She's like, there's there's money in our PayPal. There's money in our PayPal. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? She's like, yeah, there's money in our PayPal. Look, there's, I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, there's over $1,000 in there. She's like, yeah, and I'm like, there's no way. And I'm like, really? I'm like, what happened? Like, I was like, I don't know. I was shocked. And she was like, we got a payment for something. I was like, what? And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, we started like literally like, if we hit the lottery, like as if we hit the lottery at that point,
was like
right?
$1 million. It was
$1
million worth to me at that point. You know what I mean? From having $0, $1,000 was like $1 million to me. So I was super excited and super going crazy. Okay.
So hours later, another notification starts screaming again. I'm like, what? I'm like, what's going on here? She's like, she can't even talk. At that point, I'm like, what happened? I'm like, wait a minute, did they take the money out or something? That's what my first thought, right? Like, take the money out. She's like, no, like another payment. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my goodness, and I'm like, this is for real. This is really happening.
Yeah.
And within like the next 24 to 36 hours, we had our first income explosion, which was $5,600.
Wow.
Within a period of time. And I was just at that moment, I was just so scared to like mess anything up. I was just like, trust the process. Like I was just, I didn't know what else to do but that, and we were able to just immediately pay off the rent, right? I mean, we were just send the money, and it was just like a
relief.
Yeah. I felt like 150 pounds just came off of me. Like, oh man.
Yeah, we pay the rent, we pay the water, we bought food.
Oh man, like you have no idea, man. Like,
so now you guys basically, and thankfully, you were coachable. Thankfully, okay, because a lot of people aren't. Okay, a lot of people aren't, guys. Typically what happens is somebody might be 3 days in, 5 days in, 6 days in, 7 days in. And they go, oh, this doesn't work, right? I want to tell you guys this story because that one of my students, he said, Darren, what do I have to do to go to the next level? And I said, are you serious? You really want to go to the next level? He says, absolutely. I said, okay, I'm rolling out a deal right now where I'm raising venture capital, okay? And I'm going to give you 10 days, okay? 10 days. And you're going to have to raise $10,000 in 10 days. And he's like, Darren, I've never done anything like that before. I said, are you coachable? Are you coachable? He said, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Okay. So it was the same thing. It was call. We were doing conference calls and, day one goes by, nothing. 2, 3, 4, 5 days in, nothing. 6, 7, 8, 9, nothing. We're on the last day, guys. Okay, the last day. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It's at the end of the business day. Okay, now technically, as far as business goes, the day was over. The day was over, right? He goes, bro, nothing came in. I said, dude, trust the process. Get control of your thoughts, get control of your words, get control of your emotions. It will happen, okay? 2 hours later, we get a phone call, and the couple that called, they said, hey Darren, I just wanted to give you a call. We were on a call about this project that you were on, and I know that we were talking about putting in $10,000, but we decided we're not going to do that. We're going to put in 15 instead.
Boom.
Wow.
Why? Because he trusts the process.
Okay. So instead of the 10,000 that he said he couldn't do, instead of the 10 grand that he said he'd never raised a penny in his life before, guess what ended up happening? He brought in 15,000 instead of the 10. So he hit the first milestone, which was to trust the process. Okay. Then I taught him actually how to get a few people that were leaders, right? And how he could actually teach them and go raise a lot more money, right, using the same formula. And that's exactly what happened. So now he advanced to the second level of, you know, sort of getting a star type thing or a medal, right? He passed level 1, he passed level 2, and now the guy basically is a power marketer, guys. Okay, and this is somebody that had thrown in the towel multiple times in the past. Okay, he went through the spiral just like what you guys did. He was actually in a situation where his marriage fell apart. He was divorced for 4 years when he met me. And after going through and learning about this, about quantum physics, manifestation, law of attraction, he ended up remarrying his wife. Okay. Now he speaks on stage. He's a top marketer, but I don't want to divert the story with that story because that's a whole other story. But it's exactly the same as what you're talking about right now, Jose. So I just want for people to understand that we as human beings are our worst enemies. We are our worst enemies, and we're already battling 80% self-talk to begin with. And when somebody tells you trust the process and you're a week in, you know, 8, 9, 10 days in, it's right on the final hour, right? And you think, could this really happen? Could I really do this? And you start to have self-doubt. You start to have self-doubt, right? But what happened? Bam, you guys passed the first level. Then it came at a 5,700. What ended up happening by the end of the first month?
A little over $15,000, Darren, and we were able to make the wedding, right. Okay, which was really the most important thing too.
In the nick of time.
I remember like calling the guy in California that does the outfits, and we had to pay like double to get an express, you know, to cut in line, I guess. And you know, we got our plane tickets. We hit the St. Thomas Island. I remember on the island itself making a little over $3,000, you know, in those few days that we were there. And I just was like, I mean, I don't know if you remember, we actually made a video and sent it to you from the island,
St.
just
Thomas.
thanking you, thanking Ari, like, oh my, you guys are just like literally changed our lives. Like you spoke life into us.
And for believing in us too, because yeah, the strategies are so important, but also your encouragement. Like that meant a lot to me too, because you always pushed us and you believed in us when we didn't even believe in ourselves, you know?
Yeah. So we were, we were able to, you know, make a little over $15,000 in the first 30 days. And then it just kept coming in. I mean, like week 6, it was like 17.9. Then like 19. I mean, it just, we have never looked back ever since. Yeah. You know? And I, after the first 12 months, the first 12 months, we made over $157,000. Wow. And we just, like I said, we just never look back, continue, trust the process, right? Helping people, getting into our heart, getting out of our mind. I remember Darren, you know, telling us, like, I remember when after we hit that first level and you got on another call with us and you're like, guys, you have to share your story. You have to share your story. And I'm like, we have to tell everybody that we were like convicted? Like, what do you mean? And you're like, yes, like bare your naked soul, like just do it, you know, and this is gonna just take you guys to the next level. And I thank you for that. I really do. I thank you for that, for pushing us to do that and to share our testimony and to share our story. Definitely we needed that tough love, you know. And I was like, Jennifer, we're gonna share our story. We're gonna do it. And we started doing webinars and we had no idea what we were doing. We did our first, as a matter of fact, we have our first webinar on a recording of our first webinar.
It's so crappy.
Every once in a while there, we go back and we look at it and we see how far we've come. Yeah. Well, it's like not even the same person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember sitting there like we were like stuttering over, hi guys.
Looking at our notes.
You know, and it was horrible. I mean, now that we look back, we're like, but we did it, because I remember you telling us, Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Doesn't matter.
The
just
leader
do
brings
it.
the message.
Right. The leader brings the message. And we just kept doing it over and over, no matter. I mean, we would have webinars that one person would show up. And I remember Darren telling us, it doesn't matter even if one person shows up, you do it like if there's a million people watching. Okay. And we would just do it and do it and do it. And 12 months later, over $157,000 that we collected, 0 paid ads.
Yeah.
0 paid ads, right?
Standing ovation, guys. Standing ovation. Now, fast forward a little bit now, because you guys now, guys, one thing you got to understand about really helping a person get to their breakthrough, okay? A lot of people have some type of passion or a dream, or as they're going through this evolution, they start to kind of hone in on an area and then they find their path, okay? It happens all the time. They may not know it in the beginning until they get to their first level breakthrough, but when they get to the second level breakthrough, they start honing their path, right? And I know that you guys, because Jose, you're more kind of offline, right? Relationships and meetings and stuff. And Jennifer, you're more online, right? With ManyChat, and you're working with ClickFunnels and stuff now. So you guys ended up forming your own advertising agency at the end of the day. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that all come to be?
So yeah, we'll both tone on. So 2018, right? It was Funnel Hacking Live 2018 or 2019?
2018.
Yeah, 2018.
February.
Funnel Hacking Live, an event done by Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels every year. We obviously, after you told us, we invested into ourselves again, and we're like, hey, let's go to this event. So we, at that point, we already made, we were already over the 6-figure mark, right? We tried running ads. We failed miserably, right?
Because we didn't know what we were doing.
So, we get to this event, 2018, very excited. We start connecting with everybody there. A lot of marketers there, right? And when they were asking us, hey, like, what do you guys do? Like, what do you, how do you guys make money? Like, what's your story, right? And then we were telling them that point, like, well, we've made pretty much 6 figures already this year. And, and they're like, okay, well, what kind of traffic are you running? What kind of funnels? We're like,
no.
none. And they're like, what do you
use funnels? We didn't use traffic.
Using me.
And the more that we said the story, right, the more that we kept looking at each other, like, right, like it was weird. They kept looking at her like, okay, whatever. Or like, no, seriously, like, I mean, this was like, we're about 9-10 months in at that point, and like I said, we just hit over 100 grand, right? And people were like, but what kind of traffic? And we're like, no paid ads. That's why we're here, because we want to learn how to run ads, right? And they were astonished. They couldn't believe it. They're like, right. So we started noticing, like, wow, like, this is
a lot of people kept telling us.
It's a big achievement, wow. I guess. We didn't realize how big of an achievement it was until that event.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We have all these top marketers that are making multi-6 figures, and they're like, with no paid ads. Wow, that's unheard of. Wow, like, show me those strategies. That's what they kept saying. Show me those strategies. And we're like, wow. So we went to that event. We connected with that community there, and to learn.
We learned a lot.
And we started just learning a lot. And then Jennifer came home and was like, started building funnels. And go ahead, you can take it from there.
So we started building funnels. We started learning about traffic. We started connecting with all those people, because I think that was very important to the networking aspect. We started connecting, and then we're like, okay, so then we got to like learn how to run ads. And then the idea, like, we were on I think it was like during the event, like right before we came home, because it was a 3-day event. We were like, why don't we just start an agency? Like, what we were able to do for us, with no ads, right? Like, we could help other businesses. And Jose comes from the small business background, like brick and mortar. And I'm learning all this online stuff, with your skills and my skills. We combine this and help like local businesses. And that's kind of how we started the agency. That's how Social Zap was born. And we started the agency pretty much niching down to the local business market. And then, like you said, like when you start like getting on this path, it's like we evolved around the time, right? Like we started like evolving and molding like our niche. And then we started running traffic, doing funnels, social media management. And then I think like in May this year, we kept connecting with those people in that community because it's a lot of people. I mean, there's over 250,000 people in this Facebook group. You know, there's a lot of people from all over the world from different businesses. So through networking and again, investing into different events and trainings and stuff like that, I was actually connected with the VP of marketing at ClickFunnels. And he was like, hey, we think you'll be perfect at running our Facebook community since, you're such a great networker, right? We network with people. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I never would have thought that we would be like plugged in. That was like a plug in to like this amazing company. I mean, ClickFunnels is #1 entrepreneur for the Entrepreneur Magazine 360, #1 company in the world right now in less than 5 years. Like, that's insane. So to me, that was a great opportunity to get in there and also use it for our branding. When we tell people that we work with Russell Brunson and we're part of their social media team, they're like, wow, that's amazing. And then they refer us people. Now we get clients from people referring us because of that. And literally our last contract was just literally last week. We signed a contract with Jay Shetty to manage their community, their Facebook. So because of all this, right, we evolved and network and, staying with high vibing people because we're high vibing, right? We're connecting with high vibing people. Here we are today. Like, so that's kind of like,
it's been evolving. Yeah, it's been evolving for sure.
So let me ask you guys a question, because a lot of people they don't believe me when I tell them this. Okay, they can't, like the response that you got from the people that are the top marketers that maybe make $250,000, but they spent 110 or 120 grand on the paid ads. So they ended up making the same, except they spent a lot of money and a lot of risk, and you guys went out and did it with no paid ads. Okay, right. A lot of people don't believe, first of all, that that's even possible, but then they can't comprehend that the skills that I teach them to make that money transfer over so that you could go close the deals in the events, the JV deals, all the stuff that goes on as far as negotiating and closing deals offline. They don't believe it. Yeah. They don't believe it. So tell me straight, guys, okay? Do you believe that the training that you got when you first met me snowballed all the way over the full circle over to the other side, to the ClickFunnels side, which allowed you to go close those deals and to bring you into the zone where now you got both online and offline from the skills that you learned right at the very beginning?
Yes, hands down, for sure. We tell people that all the time. And we still use the skills even now. Every day. Everybody that we talk to, we're like, okay, remember the blackout strategies, babe. And we're like, give each other the eye when we're talking to people, because we already know, like, all right, yeah, we got this. We got this. Every single day, everywhere we go, like even we negotiated where our kids go to school right now, by the way, like literally last month, they go to a private school that it was going to cost us an arm and a leg and a head for all 3 of them to go. And we negotiated the deal using the blackout strategy. So it's last month with the owner of the school. All right. And we bartered some of the work and marketing. We negotiated the whole entire thing. And now we have 3 of our children going to Montessori school in a beautiful school and community just because we follow the same strategies.
And not only that, Darren, yes, we have used these skills in every day in our business. But let me take you back a couple years ago to when we started our journey. I was going through that custody battle.
Oh, yeah.
I was going through that custody battle for my children. And I also used the same skills
with the lawyers
with, and remember, I represented myself. I represented myself because at that time, I couldn't dish out the extra money. They wanted like $15,000, $20,000 just to take the case. Wow. I couldn't dish out for that. And I remember us talking about this, and you couldn't believe it yourself. And you're like, I'm like, but Darren, this is what you taught me. You're like, there's no way. And I'm like, this just happened. It took us 10 months to do it, but I literally represented myself out there. and using the same strategies,
Wow.
same principles that we call the Black Ops strategies, Jennifer and I.
Won the case.
And, you know, I now have primary custody of my kids in black and white. That's all done. And also we closed deals, and now we're just going into these bigger deals. We also were just part of a launch with Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, part of their launch, you know, this past, out of 1,000 affiliates, right? Only 85 sold more than 10 units. And Jennifer and I were among those 85 top affiliates. And we got a special invite from Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi to go out to Las Vegas.
To a party.
And I mean, just using the same strategies.
Wow.
That's what we do. We just keep using the same strategies over and over again.
Do, for sure.
So, I mean, it's in the book that Jennifer is just co-authoring right now. She writes about it, how basically she gives all the credit to Darren, like, Darren, our first mentor, like, this is what happened, you know? And it all comes back to what the conversation we had, the hour and 20 minutes will forever be like the most life-changing
significant for us,
phone call of our lives, like literally.
Wow.
That 20 minutes, it's just literally changed our entire lives.
I don't think we will ever forget, ever.
Never forget. Never forget.
That is so great. I'm so proud of you guys. Guys, is this phenomenal? Is this phenomenal? Right? This is what this is all about, guys. Okay, right here. Okay, is about transforming people's lives. And the interesting thing is that, you know, it's deeper than the strategies. That's what people don't get. It's deeper than the strategies. Because if you can't master what's going on in here, right? If you can't master your thoughts, your words, your emotional state, if you can't master your emotions, you will never master your bank account, ever. And that's the key, guys. That's what we teach. That's the whole process of manifestation. That's the whole process that I teach people in the 30-day intensive. In the 30-day intensive, okay? Now, because of the fact that I like to help the people, guys, like if you go into my, you know, my websites and whatnot, you can see that 1 hour, guys, people pay me $1,000 for 1 hour to be able to get access to get to this information. And the 30-day intensive that I'm rolling out, people get over $20,000 of real actual time from me. Real actual time. It's not just some made up thing, guys. That's the real deal. And I give it to people, literally give it to people, right? For an entire month for the cost of 1 hour of my time. That's how much I want to help the people, okay? So right underneath this video, right here, this Get Started Now button, and I can tell you that the entire last year, every program that I did was sold out, every one. And they typically just go, okay, now we're starting on the 1st of November, which is, I think, next Friday, right? Is that next Friday? 1st of November, right? So I can tell you that in the event that you want to be able to secure one of those spots, click that link below, right? And there's a Get Started Now button right there, and there's a shopping cart there. But what I want to do is I want to give people, I told you guys I would be completely transparent, and I want to keep to this. I want for you guys, if you have any questions, okay, I want you guys to be able to talk directly to two of my students. They're right here. They're live. You've heard their whole story. They're live and interactive. And if you have any questions, right now is the time, okay? Anthony says, seriously, I'm blown away right now. You guys are truly inspiring and amazing. Ria says, phenomenal. Angeline says, we got phenomenal. Angeline says, standing ovation. Trust the process. Oh yeah, this will be amazing, an amazing intensive. Any questions, guys? Okay, we've got people that have hung on for the entire time of this broadcast, and I believe in complete transparency. Okay.
Yeah. Shoot the questions.
Fire questions, guys. Fire away the questions. I want you guys to ask any questions here directly to Jennifer and Jose. They're a true inspiration. Thankfully, guys, they were coachable. Okay, not everybody is. People will try and get in their head, oh no, that could never work, right? They'll be on day 5 and they'll go, this is a bunch of BS. But look what happened. I can tell you countless stories of what Jose went through when it was right on the final hour, and they just kept on doing it to trust the process, and then pow, right? It happens all the time, okay? All the time. Any questions, guys? Somebody's got to have a question for them.
Don't be shy.
Let's go. Darren, and can I share something really quick as well? On top of that, we have witnessed, right? Actually, the person that shared your webinar with us, right, which is Louis and Sandra Class from First Class RV Adventures. We have witnessed this couple, because they were like really good friends of ours.
It's my best friend.
Go hit the road with their 2 children, literally pick up everything, sell everything, and hit the road. And they've been traveling full time ever since, using the Black Ops strategies. I mean, it's not even just like for our story. It's like, it's so real because it's like a close couple that we also personally know. You know what I mean? It's like, this is so real. I mean,
you can't fake this.
And I suggest that maybe, if you do get a chance, maybe you could reach out to those guys, interview those guys. They have a wild story as well, man.
Yeah, I'd like to actually do that to chat with them, because they ended up just to give you an idea of the transformational jump here. Okay, so Jennifer and Jose were down here 2 days with no water and eviction notice to 157,000. To now owning their own advertising agency, to now writing a book or being in a book, to ClickFunnels, right? To the Jay Shetty contract, right? And now it's just a snowball. It's a helicopter now, okay? Sandra and Luis, they were basically selling plasma to eat. They were donating blood to eat. That's how broke they were, okay? They cleared 6 figures. They got their own reality television show. They're traveling across the country now with corporate sponsors. They've written multiple books, and they have multiple programs out right now. And it all started from going through this training, guys. Okay, so we've got a question. When did you get your first breakthrough after Darren's training, your first payment to you?
Well, actually, it was really weird, because once we got into it, in the first 24 hours, actually, I mean, and we're not, like Jennifer is very aggressive, right? Within the first 24 hours, like we were so desperate, right? We literally stood up all night, right? Like we couldn't even sleep. We could not sleep, right? Because there was so much content, right? There was so much information, and we were just like blown away. We literally, like within the first hour and a half, took like 7-9 pages of notes, and we just kept looking at each other like, I told you, this is what we were missing, And she literally took action right away while we were still watching the videos, and got on Instagram, and we literally got on a phone call on a Zoom with a young gentleman, like literally probably the next morning. Or no, it was late. It was late that night. Very late that night. Morning. Like 1, 2 a.m. We got on a phone call with somebody, right, from across the country, and we were talking to him. We're following everything, and then the next morning he got on another call with us and literally just sent over the money, right? So we knew that right there we were onto something. But then after that, we kind of like stumbled around, and it was literally our first breakthrough was after that phone call, when we realized that we just weren't being coachable. We were skipping steps, right? We were skipping steps, and we weren't trusting the process. After that phone call, and guys, if anybody's watching this or is in the group, like you'll hear Darren say this over and over and over again, like trust the process, and just be coachable. But that was our first breakthrough. Was in that time right there, Yeah,
well, I think what happened, as I recall it, is that the moment that you guys got the first videos, you went through the first 3 training videos, you had, within 24 hours, you made $1,000, right? Now, and I'm not going to say that this always happens, but I typically warn people, okay, in the event that you go through the training and go pow and $1,000 show up, there's a tendency for people to all of a sudden, whoa, right? And the ego will spiral you back down and it'll take you out of the game again, right? And then typically people go, oh, well, I got this. Like, hey, we just started, we already made $1,000, right? So they typically get caught up in their ego, which is a self-sabotage mechanism. And so then guess what happens right after that? You get a universal smackdown, which is what happened. So that's when they were at the end of the rope and they reached out to me. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. I gave them a little bit of tough love. I gave them a little bit of tough love.
A little bit.
A little bit? A lot.
I was like,
at that time, I was like, man, you know what? Like, if we don't do this, if we don't listen to it, then what else? Like how Jose said, like, what else we're going to do? And at that moment, I was a little upset because it was tough love. But after everything went down now, right, I'm like so grateful that you gave me that, because that was like my wake up call. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And sometimes that's what you need, right? Because candy coating, sugar coating, right? Sometimes you just got to go bow and whoa, okay, let's get to work. Right, let's go do it. Right, and that's sometimes I believe that people need to just kind of like have a mirror just shone into their face and say, take a look in the mirror.
yes,
take a look in the mirror. Right, there's what you're looking at. And if you ever want to break through, you got to break down to break through, guys. You got to let the emotions out of your body so that you can advance to the next level. You can't get to manifestation when you're holding the baggage from your past. It's not possible, guys. You can't manifest holding on to all this energy all bottled up in your body. It's not possible to manifest, okay? Stephen says, wow, thank is so incredibly amazing. Okay. Jennifer and Jose, love you guys. Congratulations on all you've achieved. Based upon Facebook user, that probably is Rob Fraser. It's got to be Rob Fraser because he always comes up as Facebook user. But any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Okay.
Darren, like you're saying, the tough love, and I think that coming from the network marketing industry, right? They usually don't do that tough love, right? They're usually like, "Oh, you're so amazing.
Everybody could do this.
You're so amazing. You're so amazing, right?
Just like, go get 3 people, and they get 3 people, and they get 3 people, and I'm like, that's not how it works now. Now I know. Now I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's man, this is life changing, man. I like just reliving everything, Darren. We're so grateful for you, man.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Now we live in a house with a beautiful pool. Our kids go to schools. Our business is doing awesome. Like so many amazing things because of everything that started from your mentoring.
Yes.
Well, you know what? Here's the interesting thing that I learned a long time ago on the path of personal development. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're Mother Teresa. Some people are going to love you, and some people are going to hate you. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're Jesus. Yep. Some people are going to love you and some people are going to hate you. Okay. What I want to do is get people to their breakthrough. Okay. And the problem, just so that you know, guys, is that the first level of the game is called victimhood. And the majority of the human race lives there. You cannot be free in victimhood. You will never become a 7-figure income earner in victimhood. You got to take charge. You got to take responsibility. And being a CEO is very different than being an employee. Okay. A CEO is a problem solver. A CEO makes decisions. A CEO is in action. A CEO delegates. The CEO is the post of the business. That's the CEO. That's what I do. I create the CEOs, guys.
Boom. Yes. Where's the mic? So we could drop the mic.
Right. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions? I told you I'd give you an open forum here directly to Jennifer and Jose. Super proud of these guys. An amazing story of personal transformation. Guys, I mean, honestly, this is a real rags to riches story. Like, I don't think, we've been talking about a couple other stories that were like the bottom of the bottom on how they've gone to the next level. But geez, you guys, like, you really trusted the process and you did everything that I told you to do.
No, claps to you guys.
Proud. So proud.
Yes.
Okay. What practical things did you have to do to get yourself out of the feeling like giving up and the doubts?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, it's
They probably heard my voice in their head over and over and over.
All day long.
Guys, I had like I said, I was more, because men typically have a bigger ego, right, than women, and I found that to be true with humans, right? So, definitely I had my ego like blocking me, but it was just the hope that we had, right? And the inspiration, just seeing so many people, right? Is keeping engaged, guys. If you keep engaged with the community and staying close to the fire, and you're engaged in that group, and you're seeing like so many people like having breakthroughs and income stories, and you're like, how is this possible, right? It's like breaking that limited belief, right? Like the 4 mile barrier. Right. And like you're seeing these other people do it, like, okay, so if they're doing it, why can't we do it? Like, why can't we do it if they're doing it? And we actually reached out to people. We would reach out to other leaders or other people that have income stories around us on the internet. We would reach out to them and, hey, like just pick their brain and try to connect with them. And we would get feedback, and that kept us going. Yeah. That kept just knowing that's possible. Knowing that's possible and really just trusting the process, guys, And listen, the human condition, like Darren says, it's never going to go. It's always there. You're always going to have those days, right, where you want to kind of give up. But if you do, you're cutting yourself short. You really are. And we just kept going.
It's also like continuing that personal development journey, because it's never ending. Like to this day, we have the same affirmations that you gave us from 2017 on our mirror, even in our new house here. I took it from the old house. I put it with a piece of paper. We say our affirmations every morning, so it's a never ending journey. So that's the key, like continuing.
The mirror.
I just want to add to that, because, and a lot of this stuff, guys, just so you know, has to do with victimhood. Okay. People will be in a group. Okay. So imagine you're in a group of 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people, whatever. Okay. And you'll see the success story. Like, Tom just had a $5,000 day or a $2,000 day. Okay. The people that are still stuck in the first level, which is victimhood. Okay. They will feel that they're separated from the success story. So they're here as an individual, and all the success is out over here, okay? And so they'll brew about it in their mind. Like they'll be, oh, I wish that was happening for me. Right? That's typically what they do, right? So they separate themselves from the success story, okay? Instead of becoming part of the success story. So the people that have escaped the first level, that are now stepped into leadership, the first thing that they do is they reach out to the person direct and get a bridge immediately. Okay. And they say, congratulations, or they hop on here, they make one of these, hey, Tom, I just wanted to say congratulations on your $2,000 day, your $5,000 day, right? Or congratulations on your $2,000 day. I was thinking about maybe edifying your story on Thursday night. Can we hop on an interview? So now you become part of the energy, and energy transference takes place. I'm telling you guys this story. I'm getting goosebumps on my arm because it's part of the collective. So instead of being separated, You morph yourself into the success story, you celebrate the success story, and you become part of the energy. Because now you're on an interview and there's energy transference that takes place as the person's telling their success story. You're on the portal with them. So guess who gets the energy transference? You do. Okay, that's the difference. So the people that are in a victim state will be the like a little isolated, like the person at the party that's, you know, sitting in the corner, right? Right. Right. But the people that are having fun, those are the people that are in the group and everybody's laughing, they're telling jokes and they're having fun. That's the difference. That's the difference. Okay. So what do we got? What's the biggest self-limiting beliefs you guys had when you were in that state?
That we weren't good enough. And we have no self-worthiness, man. We really thought that it just, you know, we weren't good enough because we saw these people having breakthroughs in the group. But we listened, right? Guys, you guys stay coachable, right? You know, we listen to Darren, exactly what he just said right now. That's exactly what we started doing.
We started reaching out.
And I'll be honest, at first I didn't understand it, right? I'm like, so wait a minute. If I'm going to edify this guy, he's going to take all my people. And why would we do that? That doesn't make sense, right? And once again, trusting the process, right? Getting out of your own head, right? Listen, all the information that Darren gave us, we just started absorbing more and more and more. And we're like, okay.
And we started believing.
And we just started believing in it, right? And we're like, there's no way that, you know, there's all these people in this community and they're all liars. They're all faking this. There's no way. You know, like, you know, from all parts around the world. And we would reach out to them. We did exactly that. We reach out to them and we did interviews and we started doing that. But at that moment, when we're struggling, our limited beliefs is that, you know, we weren't good enough, right? Maybe we just don't have what it takes. We don't look like a leader, right? You know, and so Darren kept telling us, hey, the leader brings the message. The leader brings the message. The leader brings the message. And we just kept, you know, little by little, every single day. You know, we do mirror work. We still do mirror work today, every single day.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, guys. Stephen Cuffy says, this is so moving. Love you guys. You know, it really is, guys. And I got to tell you, we got on the call here earlier today. And, you know, yesterday I was across town. I went to the chiropractor and, you know, 2.5 years ago, I went through back surgery and stuff. And every once in a while, this is the longest period of time I've actually gone without an adjustment, which is almost a year now, right? Right. So I went back to get an adjustment, and you know, I said to Jennifer, can you guys send me a marketing picture, right? She goes, well, you know, Jose came up with this cool design and stuff, and she sent it to me, and it was just like, I just started to well up inside, right? And then again, when we got onto this this broadcast, and that, my friends, is really what this industry is about. I talk about it all the time. It's the Friends for Life program.
Yes.
It's the Friends for Life program. That's the industry that we're in, is the Friends for Life program. And when you can stop thinking about the commissions and start thinking about the value that you're providing to the people, okay? The problem with online marketing, guys, is people hide behind their computer. And I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to do to enter into the no fear zone so that you go through the computer. Through the computer. Your power goes through the computer, and then you'll be, you know, this thing right here is going to be your best friend. I'm telling you. By the time you're on the other side of that 30-day, you will see Facebook and you will understand what I'm talking about it being a portal. It's a portal. Okay. So in other words, there's all these people, and I can reach right through the screen like that to the person and shake their hands. Okay. Once you understand how to master these skills. And the big problem with Facebook, with all this stuff, this illusion of money raining from the sky, guys, that's not real. Get the stuff out of your head. Okay. The Facebook is a portal. It's an energy portal. And you can't look at it as a screen. It's a window. It's a window around the world that you can be shaking hands with people and fully understanding the concept of networking. Networking is connecting. Networking is relationships. Networking is interviews. Networking is groups, right? Stuff happening and groups and stuff. And, that's what our industry is. It's a people business. It's a people business. And if you ever want to master it, to go to 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, and 8 figures, you got to step into your personal power, baby. How many times have people heard me on seminars saying, you want to go to the top? Book yourself into the Anthony Robbins Firewalk. I say it all the time. There's only a handful of people that have actually done it. You want to wait? Awesome. You can wait as long as you want. Okay. If it was me, I just go directly to the source, right? You want to break through your fear? Bam. Let's do it. Right? There's no race. There's no race in the path to 7, 8 figures. There's no race, right? But it's really about freedom to be able to help other people. You can't help other people until you're free, right? How do you help another person to be free when you can't become free? Get yourself free by helping the people. That's how you get yourself free. The value that you provide to the people is going to get you money. That's how you get yourself money, value to the people, okay? And then once you're free, you can help the whole world become free, right, with the things that you learned. Is that pretty accurate, guys, from all the stuff that you guys have gone through?
Yeah. Absolutely right on point.
Speaking to my soul.
Yes, and we still follow everything you say, man. We still do till today. Like I said, every single day.
I still ask Darren for advice. Wasn't I asking you for advice last week? On the book? Yeah, man. Yes. Friends for Life program for sure.
So guys, what would you tell somebody right now that maybe maybe this is the first interview that they've seen, maybe they've watched some of the other interviews. What would you tell a person right now that has showed up tonight that might be down and out? They think in their mind that they don't have the money. What would you tell those people that's sitting on the fence right now? What would you share with those people? What would you tell them to do?
To find the money. Find the money. Leaders take action, right? If you want, like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If you're going through a situation and you want to change that situation, then you just need to take action. You don't have the money, go sell something, go borrow. We borrowed it. We didn't have the money. We had people that sold stuff. That we had a girl that had a bake sale and was selling cakes to get money to get into our program. So if you want to do this, if you want to change your life, be a leader, take action, find a way, right? If you really want something, you find a way and just do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would definitely say just
jump.
Jump. Exactly. If you have to, that's part of being that victimhood mentality, like you were saying, Darren, though, and we dealt with that a lot, even us, we were into that victimhood mentality. But when you just know, right? And sometimes you just have to do something out of this world, right? In order to get this out of this world results. Yep. You know what I mean? And if it's different for you, or if you tried other things or network marketing, all this other stuff, and feel like something's missing, guys, just believe in yourself. Believe that you're worth it. And to be honest with you, nowadays people spend all kinds of money, right? They'll go on vacations, right? Well, they're broke, but they'll go on a vacation. Like, what are you celebrating? Like poverty? I don't get it. Listen, make the investment into yourself, right? And that is the best thing you could ever do is investing into yourself, investing into skills that will change your life forever and change your kids' lives forever. We literally now, our 2 teenagers are homeschooling, right? They stay with us. They work on virtually, right? They do their schoolwork for the first 3 hours, and then the rest of the day they work with us, right? They work with us, and we show them the skills, and we're showing them the Black Ops strategies, And right now we're actually literally going to do teenage events, right? Because I don't know if you guys know this, the teenage suicide rate right now is out of control. It's an epidemic. Both of our 14-year-olds came home to us and told us they have friends that want to commit suicide. So I was like, okay, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Let's make a difference, right? So now we are actually doing a program, and we're going to start doing events for teens to raise awareness for this. And our first event is November 29th. Guys, this would change your life, not only yours, but your children's life.
Yeah.
You know, generations to come, man. I mean, we are so excited, Darren, for what's coming for us for 2020.
And I'm excited for you watching
Yes.
this video right now, because
Yes.
your life, you know, a year from now is never going to be the same.
As a matter of fact, we just had one of our students that was coaching with us. We just did an interview with her not too long ago, and she actually came into Orlando. We had the opportunity to meet her in person, and my gosh, she's like a different person. Doesn't even look like the same person we met. They came to us so broken and just, you know, just really, really lost, you know, and we gave her the ability to literally change her life and change the life of her child as well. You know, I mean, and that is the most rewarding stuff, you know, like Darren says, just pour into the people, bring them value.
Other leaders.
And the money just shows up, guys. Like, it's true. Once you trust the process, you know, that's all I gotta say. It's just, it's not, for sure we overthinking it for a long time.
Yeah, I think
what I wanted to just put out here, guys, is that, you know, a lot of people might teach you about specific skills of, you know, I'm going to show you how to generate leads, or I'm going to show you how to recruit, or the stuff that you're going to learn in this 30-day intensive is completely outside the box. Okay. This isn't stuff that is normally taught in business development or network marketing or anything like this. This comes from 3 years of working with a clinical psychologist in the subconscious mind to understand our core beliefs about money. 2 years working with another clinical psychologist in quantum physics, manifestation, law of attraction, the equation for manifestation. Okay, that's 5 years, guys. 5 years with experts that I worked with. Right beside them, I was the vice president of the company in 2 different zones. So, and then in addition to that, starting from Tony Robbins in my 20s, it's a snowball effect. Okay, so I started with, you know, goal setting and all that, but I wanted to go deeper, and then it got into the subconscious mind, and then it got deeper, and then it got into the human condition, and then it got deeper, and then it got into quantum physics, and then it got deeper, and then it got into the law of attraction manifestation. So this is taking your understanding of the universe and reality and how things are created and manifest and understanding it. Literally broken down so that a 5-year-old child can get the concept. Okay. And my son is a perfect example, because he started listening in when he was 15. By the time he was 16, he got the entrepreneurial bug. He started off with cell phone cases, and then he started off with game controllers. He'd take them apart and paint them different colors. And then he moved from there into little pop sockets, right? Pop sockets on the back. And now he has a Shopify business and an ad agency. And he made $400,000 in Shopify. He did $400,000 in Shopify sales. Now, I don't know what the profit margins are on Shopify. It's probably 30% or something like that. But still, at 20 years old, that's pretty good, pretty darn good. You know, it's over $100,000, right? So, but he's on the path. And the bizarre thing is that when I have conversation, he sent me a message the other day, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, you know, I'm coming out with a Shopify training product." My 20-year-old son is telling me this, right? I'm coming out with my own Shopify training product, right? I'm going to turn it into an affiliate program. I'm like, awesome. This is great. But where does it start, guys? It starts with your belief. Your belief. Do you even believe that you could do something like that? It starts right here. This is about personal power, guys. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you, throw your hat over the wall. If you think that this story has moved you in any way, I can tell you that 30 days in the success vortex will completely, totally change every aspect of your life. So throw your hat over the wall, guys. Right down underneath, you'll see a Get Started Now button. And once the spots are gone, we're going to shut down the shopping cart. Okay? And I'm going to tell you that after Civi's after listening to Sivvy's story a couple nights ago, I mean, it was like fireworks started going off. So if you've been moved by this, throw your hat over the wall, because I want you to be the next success story, guys. Jennifer and Jose, standing ovation, guys. I'm so proud of you guys. Thanks a lot for taking the time and being with me on this broadcast. I love you guys. Do you realize that we have never actually even met in person?
Yeah, I can't wait to give you a big hug. We will.
Sorry, Darren. We're going to be at our wedding.
It's hard to believe I have not even met you guys face to face. I mean, this is the power of the internet, guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Love it.
Guys, you're awesome. Thanks a lot for joining us on this exclusive and private VIP broadcast, and have a great night. All the best.
Bye, guys.